is Marley, and I've been with OCD recovery for about a year now. When I first came in last year, I was one of the worst cases that Nick and Rob had at the time, and since then I've made a lot of progress and I've been doing a lot better. Today, this video is going to be about how to deal with triggering life events while you're on your recovery journey. This is when you've made a lot of progress, you've been doing really well, maybe you've had a lot of relief in your OCD symptoms and you just feel like you're on the right track, and then boom, life happens. One thing that you have to realize is that challenging events, bad things happening to you, difficult things happening, are all just a part of life. The one thing that you can count on is that it's always going to be changing. So in order to gain a really robust recovery, you're going to have to learn how to deal with difficult life events and things going on in your life while you're recovering. So for me, I've been doing really great. I moved to a new state a couple of months ago, and I was having a lot of fun and doing really well with my recovery and everything, and then I had some life events pop up that were really challenging that have triggered me. So I am sitting here today a little triggered, so I dislocated my knee 6 weeks ago or so, and I was out of work for that time because I also tore something, and my life structure kind of got messed up. I wasn't going to work, I couldn't drive anywhere. I was mostly just in my house by myself, just trying to, work on things that I could work on. And as we know, life structure is really important for your recovery and just important in having a healthy lifestyle altogether. So sometimes when that gets thrown off, you can be triggered by that. And then I also found out that my dad needs open heart surgery, and that's coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm definitely, nervous for my dad. It's a normal emotion to have, that he's hurting. I had some difficult things pop up in my relationship, my romantic relationship, and then I also got off of hormonal birth control recently. So this is a special note just about medications. I personally don't like pharmaceuticals very much. I'm not on any anxiety medications or any medications just in general, and that was informing my decision on why I wanted to go off of hormonal birth control. But just to note, if you do have any changes in your medications, especially ones that have to do with your hormones or your brain or any types of anxiety medications, when you make changes to those, such as going off or tapering or anything like that, you're probably going to have an increase in anxiety. So just be aware of that and understand that that's what's going to happen. It doesn't need to make you scared about going off of those medications, because you can handle it. Especially if you've been recovering, you can definitely handle having spikes in your anxiety to make a decision that you think would suit your lifestyle more. First thing that you're going to realize when these life events popped up, especially say you're newly recovered, is I'm triggered. You're going to feel very triggered. Maybe you'll have an increase in your anxiety, some of your OCD symptoms might return, maybe some old themes will come in again and bother you a little bit. It's going to feel like you've gone backwards. Maybe fear is going to sneak back in, which is like, I'm going to be stuck forever this time. I can't stand anxiety. I can't stand the fact that I recovered or was feeling better and now I'm feeling worse again, or I give up, this is too hard. This is all part of the journey, and the most important part is to not give up. You are on the right track. This is just part of the journey, and this is something that we all go through. The first thing to know is recovery is not linear. There's a lot of ups and downs along the journey, whether that be because you're having difficult life events or just because, OCD recovery is a difficult thing. It's not easy, and that's why it takes a long time. That's why we go through all of these ups and downs. It's because it's a learning process, and the downs are an opportunity to learn. The next thing that you need to know is that OCD does not want to go away. It's kind of your brain's way of trying to protect you and yourself. It's like a safety mechanism. And so Obviously, we know that it doesn't actually help us and that it's not keeping us safe, but that's not what your brain thinks. And so any opportunity that it has to kind of come back in, it's going to take. So of course, if you're stressed out, it's going to try to take that opportunity to sneak back in. So be aware of that. And then, like I was saying earlier, you're gonna look at being triggered and feeling this way as an opportunity to improve and to grow in your recovery journey, to get stronger, rather than looking at it as the worst thing in the world and the most horrible thing. It just means that you have some more stuff to learn, and if you go through and take the time to get through this triggering, time now, then in the future you probably won't get as triggered by those life events. And so start looking at it as an opportunity to grow. The next thing I do want to mention is when you are triggered, you're going to probably immediately feel like you need to make changes. And Nick has mentioned this before. So one of your biggest warning signs when it comes to OCD and compulsions and that type of stuff is anytime you feel a call to make immediate changes, it's probably wrong. So it's the same kind of feeling as a compulsion, like say somebody has germ OCD and they feel like they need to wash their hands immediately. When you're trying to recover, OCD a lot of times likes to latch onto your journey, and so you may start having, fear of fear, OCD about OCD. So when you are triggered, there's going to be this call to make immediate changes like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, I must be doing, the wrong thing, I need to change. You're going to ignore this. The best advice is to be aware that you're triggered. Don't let yourself slip into old compulsions. You know what they are. If you've been on this recovery journey, you've probably stopped a lot of them, and you probably know what your biggest compulsions are. So when you're triggered, don't let yourself slip back into them, but also don't watch this like a hawk. You don't need to just sit there and be like, I can't do compulsions, because that's the wrong way of looking at things too. So you're gonna find this middle ground where you're just, aware that you could have some pulls to do compulsions to relieve yourself, and you're just not going to do those things. You don't need to change much, especially if you've been doing so much better and you're triggered right now. You're just going to continue on your current path. Just keep doing the same things, your normal daily routine. Don't avoid anything. Keep doing your daily life, and sit with the discomfort. That's the most important part. Sit with the discomfort that you're feeling and become more accepting of it again. So especially if you've had your first kind of bout of relief, you realize that a big part of it was just accepting anxiety in general. So, you became more accepting of the anxiety you were feeling, and then you've been feeling relief. You're going to want to do that same thing again. Become more accepting of that anxiety that you're feeling right now and that discomfort, and just carry it with you everywhere you go. And you're just going to continue living life. Now, a couple months down the road, say 3, 4, 5 months, or a really long period of time, you're still feeling that same level of triggered, that's when you're going to want to talk with your coach, set up a meeting, and really discuss some changes you may need to make, or some perspectives to work on changing. That's a different story. Being immediately triggered for 3 months or so is not this world-ending thing, but if it is lasting for a really long time, then there's definitely some changes that you need to make, and you probably have slipped back into some compulsions. But I guess the biggest takeaway is to not freak out when you get triggered. We all have experienced this before, all of us who are on our recovery journeys, and realize that this is just a part of it, and you're just fine. I'm just fine right now. I'm sitting here a little triggered at the moment, and I'm still talking to you guys just fine. So good luck on your recovery journeys, and I hope to be making some more videos soon. So bye guys.